Welcome back to another video. This update covers everything new happening around Battlefield 6, confirmed content, upcoming updates, developer statements, community feedback, and what to expect over the next few months. Let's start with what's officially on the roadmap for Battlefield. Season 1 launches October 28th and rolls out in 3 chapters: Rogue Ops, California Resistance, and Winter Offensive. Rogue Ops introduces a new map called Blackwell Fields, a close to mid-range battleground with scattered industrial cover, open farmland, and steep ridges. The new mode, Strike Point, is a faster, objective-based fight designed for 16 to 24 player squads. Alongside it comes several weapons: a compact marksman rifle, an SMG, and a new throwable that disables equipment for a short duration. In November, the California Resistance adds the Eastwood map, an abandoned coastal suburb with earthquake damage and flooded streets. The new Sabotage mode runs 8 versus 8. Teams plant or disarm explosive in sequential objectives. The update also brings battle pickups, temporary weapons found on the field, and echoing mechanics from older titles. December closes the season with the Winter Offensive. Empire State converts into a snow environment with ice physics, indestructible frost layers. The limited event Ice Lock will feature timed rewards, cosmetics, and a melee weapon, an ice axe, tied to the seasonal progression. Each chapter includes smaller balance passes to back-end updates every 2 weeks. The intent is to keep the player flow steady with new content rather than just a large quarterly drop on a regular basis. With that roadmap laid out, the next question is going to be, how well is the game actually going to run under all this new content coming up? To get Battlefield launched, developers looks like they prioritize stability and frame consistency over maximum visual fidelity. Battlefield 6 launched without ray tracing, and the team confirmed there are no short-term plans to add it in. Their focus was large-scale performance, particularly in 128-player environments with dense destruction. Frostbite 5's new threading system handles debris, particle physics, and lighting separately, reducing frame spikes when multiple explosions happen simultaneously. On consoles, both PS5 and Xbox Series X, they both hold 120 FPS modes with dynamic resolution scaling. PC benchmarks show an RTX 3060 Ti averaging around 110 FPS at 1444p with high settings, proof of the optimization. The developers described the goal as responsive realism, keeping input latency low while maintaining Battlefield's trademark visual chaos. During pre-production, the team briefly tested generative AI tools for early concept layouts. The lead designer called the technology very seducing, but clarified that it was only for brainstorming early mission flow and not for final map design or writing. The advantage was speed. AI produced rough geometry and environmental sketches that artists later replaced with handcrafted terrain. The studio emphasized that all final maps, dialogue, and story content remain human-made. This confirms EA DICE's stance that AI will assist creativity but not replace it. The Frostbite 5's engine destruction model now uses asynchronous data streaming. Debris remains persistent longer, but low-priority fragments unload dynamically to maintain stability. The lighting system also switched from static to hybrid volumetric. Shadows update faster without full global illumination overhead. Combined, these tweaks allow larger explosions, draw longer distances, and better visibility without sacrificing frames. Players may notice clearer visuals and long-range engagements and smoother camera transitions when moving between interior and exterior spaces. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about some exploits and fixes. There was a few major exploits that appeared shortly after release. The first was the ladder launch bug, where jumping from certain ladder angles propelled players high into the air, giving them impossible sightlines. It's been replicated widely and confirmed for removal in the next coming update. The second involves a drone mine combination. where players attached explosive to drones, flying them into objectives for instant detonation. It wasn't an intended mechanic, but it's being patched as well, so drones can only deploy with their proper payload. Minor issues like vehicle clipping, invisible collision near bridges, and rare underground spawns are already fixed through backend updates. Those backend updates tie directly into how the Frostbite engine now handles destruction and rendering. Under the hood, it seems like the technology is stable, and that stability is crucial because the franchise itself is entering a new era in business. EA recently finalized a $55 billion privatization deal, taking the company off the public stock market. Going private frees the Battlefield team from quarterly shareholder pressure. Development can now run on a multi-year timeline instead of chasing short-term goals. Battlefield 6 is the first major release under this new structure, effectively serving as the company's test case for sustainable live service planning. And with long-term stability at the corporate level, the developers turn their attention to long-term integrity in the gameplay, starting with security. Battlefield 6 ships with kernel-level anti-cheat, operating deep within the system, much like Riot's Vanguard. Players on Windows 11 must enable Secure Boot and TPM 2.0, blocking driver-level cheats before they load. Weekly ban waves are already in place, and detection files update every 7 days. The studio's public statement was direct. They plan to fight cheaters for as long as the game exists. While that system protects fair play, the game's presentation also took a different direction this time. Battlefield 6 is one of only 3 titles in the series rated for gore by the ESRB. The presentation leans darker, more grounded, closer to a modern military drama than a stylized action shooter. Close quarters takedowns and explosion effects are more realistic, meant to emphasize the cost of combat without crossing into gratuitous violence. That grittier tone set the stage for the community's first reactions after launch. Early feedback is largely positive, but players have pointed out a few consistent issues. Visibility is topping the list. Foliage and dark interiors can hide enemies at short range. Developers confirmed a full visibility pass for the next update. Progression pacing is another complaint. Attachment and gadget unlocks take longer than expected. XP rewards for assists, repairs, and team support are also going to be increased. And Conquest mode's built-in timer continues to divide the fanbase. Many want matches to end naturally through ticket depletion. A no-timer playlist is currently being tested internally. As feedback rolls in, the team keeps pushing smaller adjustments quietly through data-only updates. A recent backend patch tweaked weapon ballistics and rush mode tickets. Rifle muzzle velocities drop slightly to separate weapon classes a little more clearly. Shotguns now include pellet drag, cutting long-range power. Rush maps gained roughly 25% more tickets to extend match length. These incremental changes happen server-side, so players see a smoother balance without new downloads. Behind these micro patches, data miners started uncovering evidence of what might be next to come for the Battlefield franchise. Files inside the latest build reference patrol boats, jet skis, and amphibious transports. These assets suggest that naval combat is under development for a later season. The current water engine already supports a buoyancy, waves, and weight physics, features not heavily used yet. Adding coastal or river-based maps would unlock that potential. Most analysts expect a water-focused expansion in Season 2 or 3 once the season cycle stabilizes. Outside multiplayer, attention is also turning toward the game's narrative side. Critics describe the single-player story as straightforward, polished, but safe. Developers have hinted at smaller post-launch narrative missions that continue character arcs from the base campaign. These operations would release between seasons and connect back to multiplayer progression, offering story context without separate DLC packaging. If well executed, they could re-establish Battlefield storytelling without disrupting live service support. That leads to the broader picture of where's the series stand and heading into next year. Battlefield 6 launched strong and stable, outperforming early expectations. The next quarter will focus on new maps, exploit removal, and steady mechanical tuning. With consistent back-end updates, weekly anti-cheat sweeps, and hints of naval expansion on the horizon, the franchise finally feels on track for sustained recovery. For longtime players, it's the most confident Battlefield has felt in years, and if the developers keep this up, 2026 could mark the full return of the series. And that's going to wrap up for today's Battlefield 6 news cycle. I'll keep digging into patch notes, hidden updates, and leaks as they roll out. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What change do you think will impact the game the most? If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next upload. Catch y'all on the next one.